Hey, hello. So my name is Carrie, and I've been thinking about doing this for a while, and I figured why not just take a chance and start my own booktube channel. I really love reading books and talking about books and watching other people talk about books. So I figured it was, pretty good idea. All right. I figured for my first video, I would just start it off nice and easy with a good old book haul. I got these the end of January from Barnes & Noble. So there's 12 books in total, and I have read 4 of them already. But I figured I'd just share them with you. We'll start with the ones that I've already read. Starting off with The Lola Quartet by Emily St. John Mandel. I read Station 11 in August of last year, and I really enjoyed it. So I really wanted to try more of Emily St. John Mandel's books out, and this is the third one that I've read. The other one that I've read was it's my favorite one too, The Last Night in Montreal. So this book is about this guy named Vic Gavin, and when he was in high school, he was doing really great, excelling. He was in this jazz band with some of his other best friends at the time, and basically as soon as they graduated, they all split off and went different ways with their lives. And 10 years later, he goes back home and he sees his sister, and she's like, hey, I saw this kid the other day and she looks exactly like us, and she also has the same last name as your high school girlfriend. So then he basically decides that he wants to find out what happened to his high school girlfriend, because she just kind of disappeared without telling him anything. And he wants to know who this child possibly is. Maybe is it his actual daughter? So it's basically like his story of finding out who she is, and like we find out what happened to the ex-high school girlfriend, and we also find out about the lives of his best friends that were in the jazz quartet with him. And I really enjoyed it. It wasn't a 5-star, it was a 4-star. But I just really love Emily St. John Mandel's writing. I think it's so fun and beautiful. So I'm just kind of like slowly making my way through her whole catalog of books. So that's the first one. And then the next one we have is a novel obsession by Caitlin Barash. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce her last name. I actually just finished this a couple nights ago, and let me tell you, it was a wild ride. Okay, so obviously this book is about obsession, which is what I wanted. And it's about this 24-year-old girl named Naomi, and she enters a relationship for the very first time, and everything's great until she finds out about her boyfriend's ex-girlfriend, who also lives in New York City, and her boyfriend is from Wales, so she just assumed that the ex-girlfriend was also from Wales, and that she would never have to worry about running into her or anything. So as soon as she finds out that the ex-girlfriend is actually American and lives in the city with them, she, gets curious. And then that curiosity turns into stalking real quick. It goes from like online cyber stalking to in person, to the point where she starts to befriend the ex-girlfriend, and it just gets wild from there. And let me tell you, this book made me feel so icky and gross at times, but it was so much fun, and I had such a good time reading it. Like I was obsessed. I couldn't put it down. I love it. It's great. So that one was a 5-star for sure. The Lola Quartet was a 4-star. Can't remember if I said that or not. And then this one is currently very popular on like Book Talk and BookTube, just all over the internet. So I got it and I was like, I'm gonna see what all the hype's about. It's Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. And I honestly feel like all the hype did this book a huge disservice for me. It was fine. And that's about it. I think I gave it a 3-star. It just, to be honest, it was kind of boring. And I know it's supposed to be like cozy and there's not supposed to be a whole lot of plot. And I guess I just didn't enjoy that. I guess I just needed a little bit more, you know? I'm so bummed out. I really wanted to love this because this book is just so floppy and it just feels so good in the hands. And I didn't love it. Then the next one, so a pretty popular author that I've seen so many people talking about on BookTube is T. Kingfisher. And I have been wanting to try some of her books for a while now. So when I was at Barnes & Noble, I was like, all right, I need to get me some T. Kingfisher. And honestly, they only had 2 of her books. They had the one that I got, which is The Twisted Ones. And then I can't remember if it was The Hollow Places or her other like horror novel that she has out that they had. But they didn't have any of her fantasy, so I was a little disappointed there. So I went with this one. And I started it, and it's basically about this girl whose grandmother has just recently passed, and her father I think he's in his 80s, so he's like in ill health and he can't go and take care of the house that the grandma used to live in, but it needs to be cleaned out and gotten ready to sell because, they live in Pennsylvania, I think, and the grandmother lived down in North Carolina, and there's just no reason to keep the house. So she goes, and then she finds out that her grandmother, which was not a very nice lady, was also a huge hoarder. So in trying to wade through all the junk in the house, she comes across her grandmother's second husband, so she calls him her step-grandfather. She comes across his diary, and it's really weird, and it's got like this story about this girl that's supposedly from the 1800s and some weird stuff, and it kind of like spooks her out. And then after she reads it, some weird things start to happen in the woods around the grandmother's house, and it just kind of like spirals from there. And this one was fine. I didn't really love the writing style of this one. It's like the main character is telling you the story, and she fills it with like weird, quirky like jokes, and she tries to like make it really light at times. So like they'll be building up to like a super horror suspension moment or tension moment, and then all of a sudden she'll like crack some jokes, and then it just like ruins the whole moment. And like I haven't read a lot of horror books in my life. I'm really trying to get into it because I love watching like people play horror games. I really love that. I don't love horror movies as much, but I figure since I love horror games, I was like, let me try dabbling in some horror novels. And this is the second horror novel that I've read, and it wasn't as scary as I wanted. Like, it had a couple good spooky moments of like weird creatures looking in through the window at you while you're trying to sleep at night, and like your heart starts to race, and I really enjoyed that. And then it just kind of fell off, and it was really long. Like, it's only, what, 400, no, not even 400. It's 381 pages, and it was incredibly slow. I would say for the first 60% of the book, it's very slow. Not a lot happens. It's just her moving things out of the house, talking to neighbors, wandering in the woods, taking her dog on walks. And then it's like, I guess at the 60, maybe 65% mark, then it like escalates, and then it's like pretty high all the way until the end, and then it just kind of like drops off. And the last chapter is literally her being like, well, that was my story. It was a bummer. I gave it 3.5. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't my favorite. So that was that one. And then the rest I have not read yet. So the first one is going to be Out by Natsuo Kirino. This one I saw, and I was honestly just intrigued by that cover. I think it's about a woman who's in an abusive relationship in Tokyo, and she ends up murdering said abusive husband, and then in trying to cover up the crime and hide the body, she gets mixed up with the Japanese mafia, I think. It says it leads to a terrifying foray into the violent underbelly of Japanese society. So sometimes I just want to hear about a lady who's tired of her abusive husband and just offs him. So don't judge me. So yeah, that is that one. I'm excited to get around to that. And the next one is a book that I've wanted for a while. I don't honestly know what it's about. It's Piranesi by Susanna Clark. I love this cover. I just think it's so pretty. I think it's about a labyrinth and Piranesi, which I'm not sure if like that's Piranesi or if like Piranesi is a person. But I also think I remember reading something about gay love in this, and I'm always down for a book about gay love. So I'm excited. I mostly got this one because I'd read like Circe and Song of Achilles, and some other like Greek myth retellings, and this was kind of recommended in that vein, so I was like, sure, why not? We'll try it out. So looking forward to that one. And then this next one I honestly just picked up because I thought the cover was really pretty, and I was like, heck yeah. It was also a blurb by Ruth Ozeki, which wrote A Tale for the Time Being, and I read that back in 2017, and I really love that book. So this one is called Satellite Love by Genki Ferguson, and I think it's about this girl who calls down, it's got pretty pictures in it. Like, do you see that? It's really nice. It's about this girl who calls down a satellite in Japan, southern Japan, and let's see, in a desperate act of longing and imagination, Anna calls Leo, the satellite, down to Earth, where he embarks on an extraordinary journey to understand his own humanity as well as the fragile mind of the young woman who conjured him into being. As Anna withdraws further into her own mysterious plans, Leo will be forced to question the limits of his devotion to his creator and the lengths he will go to protect her. So I thought it sounded intriguing. I think the cover is gorgeous. Can't wait to read that. Alright, and then the next one is also in the same vein as like Greek myth retellings, but I Actually, no, I think I would say this is more like a historical fiction. It's The Wolf Den by Elodie Harper. And it's basically about women at this, it's called the Wolf Den Brothel in Pompeii. And I just thought it would be really fun. I love Pompeii. Learning about it, I think is such a sad, tragic event, but it's also so fascinating. And so I thought it'd be really cool to read a book that was set in Pompeii before, like, it was destroyed. So looking forward to that. The next one is The Forgotten Garden by Kate Morton. I picked this one up mostly because I've read one other book by Kate Morton. It was The Clockmaker's Daughter. I read it at the end of 2021, and it was so beautiful and so heartbreaking, and I absolutely loved it. So I've been wanting to get more of her books and try more out. So this one's about a girl who is abandoned on a ship that's headed for Australia in 1913. And then once she gets there, she's taken in by a nice family and they raise her. And then I think when she turns 21, they tell her the truth about basically where she came from, or like that they don't know where she came from. They don't know who she is. And so then it sets out on her trying to discover her past and who her real parents are and like her family. So I'm excited to try that one out. Kate Morton's a great author. I think you should, give her a shot. The next, it's a book by Matt Haig, which I've been wanting to try a book by Matt Haig for a while. It's not his most popular one. What's it called? It's The Midnight Library. The one about the girl who, I think she passes away. And then she goes to, the libraries and like reads about all her alternate lives she could have. I know that one was pretty popular. I haven't read it yet. I really want to. They just never seem to have it in my Barnes & Noble. And I just haven't ordered it online because honestly, I forget all about it. So I thought I would try this one instead as my first Matt Haig. How to Stop Time. It's basically about this guy, and he is like 400 years old, but he doesn't look it. He looks like he's in his early 40s, and he wants to settle down in London and teach about history because, he's been living all this history. So he figures it's the best career option for him. And apparently there's this society called the Albatross Society. That's a secretive group, and they protect people like him who, I don't know if they're immortal or what the deal is. But they basically have one rule, and the one rule is that you're not supposed to fall in love. And of course, as soon as this man starts his new job at this school, he meets, I think she's another teacher. I don't know if it says what she teaches. But he meets another teacher and bam, instantly attracted, falls in love with her. So it's basically, I guess, their love story? I'm not sure, but I'm looking forward to reading this. So the next one, I honestly got this one on a whim. I'd seen it on Goodreads before, and I was like, I don't know if that's for me. But I'm also kind of like in this mood to read more like literary fiction because as I said before, I've been loving Emily St. John Mandel's books so far. And so I'm just kind of trying to find more authors that have books that feel similar to what she's been writing. So I thought I would pick this one up. It's A Visit from the Goon Squad by Jennifer Egan. The cover is really pretty, and I actually love the way this book feels. It's like a kind of textured matte. It feels great. But I think this one's basically, let's see, it says, Benny is an aging former punk rocker and record executive. Sasha is the passionate, troubled young woman he employs. Here, Jennifer Egan brilliantly reveals their past along with the inner lives of a host of other characters whose paths intersect with theirs. With music pulsing on every page, A Visit from the Goon Squad is a startling, exhilarating novel of self-destruction and redemption. So, looking forward to that. I hope it's good. I don't know much else about it. Okay, and then the last one I've heard about on the old booktubes. So I thought I would give it a try. It's called The Year of the Witching, a novel by Alexis Henderson. I do really think this cover is really pretty. I think it's basically about this girl, and she's told that her very existence is blasphemous because she's, I think she's biracial. And she lives in this like super puritanical village. I'm not sure where it's set, if it's like England or colonial America. But she wanders into the woods one day and she comes across 4 powerful witches. They're spirits. They were killed long ago, I guess. And they bestow a gift on her, the journal of her dead mother, who she is shocked to learn once sought sanctuary in the woods herself. I think it just sounds like it's gonna be a witchy good time. And yeah. So anyways, that's all 12 books that I got. I'm really looking forward to reading them. I'm sure I will give some book reviews as I go along on this channel. I'm super excited about it. So I think it's gonna be all for my first video. I don't remember if I introduced myself. I'll just say it again. My name is Carrie, by the way. And thank you for coming here. Thank you for spending some time with me. If you like this, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. It would let me know what you guys think. You can always drop a comment. Let me know how I did. And if you're really kind, you could always give me a nice subscribe. That would be appreciated. But anyways, I hope to see you guys again soon. Thanks for everything. Have a great day.